I still have to make the video with Dave on his new ZL1, which he's driving now. But today we're going to talk about the Chevrolet HHR, because I've been wanting to talk about this car a little bit. This is actually a car that we use as like a shuttle vehicle, a parts delivery vehicle, basically like a runaround vehicle for the dealership. As you can see, it's all labeled with Schumacher Chevrolet information. So really it's like a rolling billboard. These HHRs were good for families and for businesses alike. I remember back when they produced these, we used to sell a lot of them to companies, pizza delivery, florists. I sold a couple to a plumbing company. It was a good vehicle that you can transport some stuff around, as well as get good gas mileage and have something that can park anywhere because it's small, you know, just a really nice little vehicle that you can use for really a lot of different purposes. Now you're probably wondering, what does HHR stand for? And it stands for Heritage High Roof. And it was basically designed and inspired by the vehicles, the Chevrolet cars and trucks specifically, from the late 40s and early 50s. I was reading online that it was actually specifically the 1947 Suburban that was really the inspiration for this vehicle. Now, this was designed by a gentleman named Brian Nesbitt, and what's funny is he must have really been a fan of that generation car, because he also designed another model that I'm sure you've probably heard of before he worked for Chevrolet or for General Motors, and that was the Chrysler PT Cruiser. He designed that vehicle as well. Now, when you look at the HHR and then you look at the PT Cruiser, there is obvious resemblance there. You know, there's a lot of characteristics that are very, very similar, and you can tell it was sort of designed with the same inspiration in mind. Our specific HHR here is a 2011 model year, and that was the last year this vehicle was produced. They started in 2006, so it had a 6-year run. You know, it's a basic car platform, you know, front-wheel drive, 4-cylinder engine, 5-passenger with the hatch in the back. The big thing about this vehicle is it had a nice amount of cargo space, you know, when you fold the seats down especially. So as we look in the back here, you can see, you know, pretty standard amount. However, you had this tray that would come out. You can see we got some jumper cables there. Underneath that bottom floor is the spare tire, but this you can actually take out and you can put on another tier. Let's see if I can do this one-handed here. All right, I can't. And basically you place it, which isn't that easy to do. There you go. You can place it on like a top shelf. So now you would have 2 levels of storage. You know, you can put, you know, let's say bags of mulch, stuff like that in the bottom, and put your flowers and plants up on top. You know, this is an example. You have 2 levels. And then what you could also do is you can fold the second row seats flat as well. And when you do that, you have a fantastic amount of cargo space inside here. All this stuff was plastic, so you can slide boxes in and out easy. And that's really what made it a really great delivery vehicle for companies. You know, maybe they have full-size vans and full-size pickup trucks, but if you needed something that can run around from job to job, this was really like the perfect thing to get to complement your Chevy Express vans and your Silverados. Plus, if you're only a driver and you have no passengers, you could actually fold the front seat flat as well. And now you have more length where you can put longer items in, maybe like a small ladder, things like that. The second row seat here was also a 60-40 split. So you can have your driver up front, you can have cargo, you know, long cargo or whatever you might be carrying around, and then you can have passengers in the second row like I'm sitting right here. I'm 6'5". I mentioned that in videos. Because of the Heritage High Roof design, there's plenty of headroom, you know, leg room for people to fit in the back of this vehicle. So, you know, really versatile design. It really, I mean, my customers that purchased them, they loved them. And there was really like an enthusiast following because they came out with different models. So you had like your regular HHR. They made a HHR Super Sport. They made an HHR panel, which basically was just 2 seats, nothing but cargo space, no glass on the back windows, the back doors, which was awesome for businesses because you had like a whole side of the vehicle, again, that you can use as a rolling billboard to basically letter up and advertise for your business. And then they also made, which was very, very rare, I don't know that I've ever even seen one, they made a half panel. And the half panel, I'm pretty sure, still had seats in it. However, these back windows were paneled out. So you had what they called was a half panel. Again, a little bit of spot where you can put some sort of an insignia or logo or whatever you want for your business. But then at that point, you still had better visibility because you had your glass here on your back doors. Up in the front seat, you'll notice plenty of headroom. Again, it's that Heritage High Roof design. It's got that high roof, gives you plenty of space. And I'm sitting pretty upright right now, and there's a tremendous amount of room. normal controls, power windows, locks, mirrors. This does have a power seat. You can see you have a steering wheel here with just some basic controls for the driver information center that shows our 79,730 miles. And as you look around, you will notice, I mean, this is one big hunk of plastic. You know, really no thrills as far as what they put on the interior to kind of dress this car up. I mean, everything is just very plasticky. But when you think about it, this vehicle is 11 years old now, 10 to 11 years old. So there is no backup camera. There's no Bluetooth. There is still a CD player, but there is no USB port. The only thing they had back then was a little auxiliary input jack on the corner of the radio, so you could plug in like an iPod or an MP3 player and run it through the speakers. But back then, you know, this is sort of what was offered. I mean, if you compare this layout to my last video where we were looking at the 2022 Tahoe with the full LED screen, the extra screen for the radio, touch, Bluetooth, wireless, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. I mean, a lot has changed in a decade. So just imagine, look at where we're at in any brand vehicle right now, 2021. Just imagine where we're gonna be in 2031. You know, probably features that we can't even think of right now will be out at that point, which is just mind-boggling to consider. As far as interior, what else can we talk about? No center console. You just have the two armrests on the seat, a couple of cup holders down below with your emergency brake. This one isn't automatic. Again, you could get it with a manual transmission. You have controls for climate and then again radio. Pretty basic setup, but it does the job. Up top here, you have a little storage compartment. You got your standard glove box like in most cars. But you know, pretty much basic transportation. You know, it does the job. What I will say is these vehicles did have a big following. You know, a lot of people bought these and kind of customized them up. Like you can find some pictures online of some super sport models. That looked cool with like the lower fascia on that vehicle, give it a more aggressive look. You know, you had the panel ones. It became like a little bit of a cult car, probably just like the PT Cruiser did, just not nearly as popular. If I had to guess, because I don't know the sales numbers, but I would imagine that the PT Cruiser sold a lot more than the HHR did. But that's something that we would all have to look up and find out. As we take one last kind of walk around the outside, you'll notice that, yes, I am at Schumacher Chevrolet of Livingston. We're at 606 West Mount Pleasant Avenue in Livingston, New Jersey. We have locations in Clifton, Little Falls, Denville, Livingston, and this is actually outdated because we do actually have a location in Boonton, New Jersey as well, which I guess they purchased after this wrap was put on. Check out the website, schumacherchevrolet.com, if you want to see what kind of inventory we have. As you go to the back here, you'll notice that we did remove the rear wiper. This way it didn't mess up the vinyl wrap, which actually is sort of falling apart. This was done probably in 2017. Up in the front here, you'll notice this had the antenna mounted here. It would screw in and stick out. You know, little mast antenna there, but that's missing. These also had, these are bolt-on wheel covers. So that's a plastic wheel cover, but one of the cool things they did, at least, even though it's a plastic wheel cover, was they shaped the steel wheel behind it the same pattern. I always thought that was pretty cool because it gave you the illusion that you had an aluminum wheel, even though you didn't have an aluminum wheel. Up front, you'll notice that this model does not have the fog lights, and actually the little fog light plug that would normally be in there is missing. You also have those plastic headlights where after 10 years kind of got fogged over, which is pretty normal to the time period. But that's pretty much it. What do you think? Did you enjoy this little sort of look back in the past at a retro styled vehicle? Hopefully you did. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.